and welcome to another episode of It Was Mooney, your source for all things movie, streaming, and pop culture related. I'm your host, Kosi, and I'm joined always by Wani B. And we're joined in studio today by friend of the show. What's up, brother? Welcome back, Eric.
What's up, guys?
Eric. What's up,
White
brother?
boy alert.
Dude, it's a
Say white boy alert.
it's a beautiful Friday night, and I'm happy to be here.
Happy to
Are
have
we
you,
all?
man.
Happy to have
Very
you.
happy to have you. It's been a minute.
Hell yeah, no, it has, it absolutely has.
The James Bond episode, I think, was our last one.
Soul bonding.
Yeah,
That
man.
was
Soul Bond.
soul bonding.
I'm still so scared about what they're gonna do with that.
Amazon.
Amazon.
I guess we'll figure.
They haven't
it
really
out.
announced anything, considering how much of a big deal they made about buying it.
Yeah.
frankly.
Yeah.
They paid a lot of money into it. But hopefully they don't completely trash it. If not, we had, 60 good years? Could be worse.
Yeah.
So hear that, Broccoli family. Like, look what y'all have done. But hopefully it's a good deal with Amazon.
Broccoli family got their money. It's not their problem anymore.
Yes, sir.
That's very true.
They got their broccoli, too.
So to speak. Yeah, man. So what we got on tap for today's show, brother?
So today, we're having a very special episode.
Special.
We're not talking about movies today. We're talking about Kanye motherfucking West.
We got to talk about Kanye, guys.
Guys, we are doing both ways. We're doing a little bit of a retrospective, look back at his career, some of the happy moments and happy memories we all have with his music, and then we're getting more into the recent stuff.
So we'll keep it at that until we get in. But yeah,
The
way
recent
recent stuff.
If you have not been living under a rock and or maybe in a very healthy way, stay off social media.
Yeah, don't look at your phone,
If
guys.
you don't know what we're talking about, good for you. I am happy for the life you are living in. And the bubble, I wish I could share with you.
But Kanye, this is more than a cry for help, and we're going to definitely discuss all of that with our
That's the
friend
nice
Eric.
way to put it. That's
Yeah.
the nicest way you can possibly put this. A cry for help.
But, man,
But yeah, and then Eric, obviously, white boy got hot takes on the crazy black dude.
super duper hot takes, Eric. We're ready to hear them.
Yeah.
Why
Hopefully,
you gotta make it sound
hopefully you don't get
so
canceled, Eric.
so racist? Bro.
Because
Because it's what gets views on the streets,
it
Eric.
gets the people going, bro.
Damn.
It's
All right.
Have you
provocative.
not watched Stephen
Hey,
A?
for all the listeners, this is what they wanted.
We
they,
did.
They didn't bring me on here to be cool. They bring me on here to be racist.
I learned it from watching you, Eric.
Damn it.
I
Why
learned
do
it from
you
watching
think
you.
We brought you instead of some DEI dude for the racial draft.
Yeah, man, we're not gonna bring some DUI higher up in here.
No,
Yeah.
that's fair.
Yeah, see, we can't get DEI people for the racial draft.
Yeah.
It's Trump land, baby.
No,
Dude, we should probably get around to doing a second racial draft, dude. It's been about a year that we've done it, man.
Part
So,
2. We got to get more people involved in the racial
We
draft.
definitely have to get more people involved because now more than ever, the country can be brought back together with racism and form a racial draft, of course.
Of course. Okay, so we'll get it started. We're going to take a look at this chronologically.
Yeah.
Right? Take a look at the early days when he broke out with his music career. Again, for the most part, happy moments where he was a little bit of a larger-than-life character, but you wouldn't necessarily say problematic.
Yeah, he's just a very, very talented producer who wore pink polos and just made great instrumentals for a lot of the artists in
Who
his day.
found him?
I believe it was
Jay-Z.
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 Yeah.
At least Bad Boys. I don't know if
Yeah.
Jay-Z was his first song, but his first big song was with Jay-Z.
Yeah, it was off of the Blueprint. If we want to get into it, definitely off the Blueprint album.
I
He was
think he
producing for
produced
him.
one song for Jay-Z before that, but
Yeah.
his big breakout was Takeover and Izzo,
Izzo.
on the Blueprint.
Yeah.
Takeover was that song where Jay-Z shit on Nas that
Yeah.
kind of revived
Yeah.
Nas's
Yeah.
career.
Yeah.
Led to Either. That's a whole nother story.
Yeah, and actually, just to fact check a little bit, he was actually an in-house producer for Rockefeller. So yeah, that
Yeah,
was
that's what it is.
at
Rockefeller,
Jay-Z.
not Bad Boys.
that was
Rockefeller.
that was when like the holy trinity of rap in the 90s in New York was what, like Jay-Z, Nas, and Rakim.
Of course,
Yeah,
of
and
course.
like and
And that third one was
Rakim
like,
did the J. Cole move where he was just like,
I'm outta here,
I'm
guys.
just gonna fucking
I'm about out.
gonna get out.
That was the New York guys. But that's after Biggie and Tupac died.
yes,
Yeah, no, for sure.
But yeah, that was kind of the underground holy trinity of rap. They weren't necessarily the mainstream G-funk out in the West gangster
No.
rap, but they were still pretty big. And then Jay-Z exploded. By the point Kanye got big, that was post Hard Knocks.
Yeah, he's definitely
that
on that.
was post what do you call it with UGK, Big Pimpin'. That was post Big Pimpin'.
It's like 2001. So like the late 90s, early 2000s was when Kanye was really coming up in the whole rap game.
So at this point, he was just a producer. He claims he founded it, but his style was actually RZA had done a couple songs
sampling.
Sampling, not just sampling, like sped up samples of like soulful music. The original ones, if you guys are curious, Wu Banga and Shadowboxing are some of the OGs of that kind of genre, where you hear like the sped up vocals in the background, almost as an instrumental.
Especially Shadowboxing, it's looped throughout the entire song and the instrumental of that.
Yes,
like
Wu Banga has a good one too.
Yeah.
Wu Banga has a good Wu Banga 101 on Supreme Clientele. Those are great examples. But Kanye took that, made it even kind of more soulful, more upbeat almost. I don't know how you want to call it.
Yeah, and that was his brand. He took that, and where I think Wu-Tang, their sample kind of made it like more
kind of
tough.
grimy.
Tough and like rough. Kanye's was more soulful, like warm and really and melodic, and that really made
melodic is a good word.
Really made him stand out.
That's what Ninth Wonder kind of started doing that and got really big after, like putting a lot of gospel and a lot of soul into the samples.
Ninth Wonder was a Kanye. I don't know if he was a direct protege, but he was clearly influenced by Kanye.
Oh yeah.
Clearly, Kanye was a big influence, and no, he got big pretty quick. At that point, he started making music for a lot of folks, and pretty big. He decided to get into the rap game.
Yeah,
right. That's when he had the big car accident.
2002.
Got his
The Wire.
Through the wire. Got his mouth.
Such a great song.
Mouth through sewed shut. You could actually hear it
when you listen to the
song. He actually recorded himself rapping the song in the hospital with his jaw still somewhat wired shut.
I just like the Chaka Khan sample.
Oh yes,
it's such a good sample.
Through the Fire is a great song on its own, but to take that. No, I love that. Like this at this point in his career, he's worked on hits. He's worked with people like Ludacris, Alicia Keys, and
Common. He did a couple big songs with Common. The Food was an
amazing song.
He did the whole album be what Kanye produced.
Yeah,
I don't know if y'all knew that.
No, I did not. Actually, did not realize that.
Yeah, Kanye did that whole album for him.
So then coming up into that 2002 car accident, that really was a first like pivotal moment in his life because he was close to death. It kind of made him almost, not to go forward, but he rarely ever kind of like looks introspective a lot.
Spiritual.
Yeah, he made him kind of look inward and say, "Hey, maybe I should really hone in on my purpose here in life," and that's really where his career kind of took off.
There was a line in Through the Wire where he says, "In the same hospital where Biggie Smalls died." I was just like, "Damn, man!"
Yep.
Yeah, that
said I had blood clots, but I ain't Jamaican, man.
And look, let's say it. As amazing a producer as Kanye was, his lyricism wasn't up there.
Yeah, it wasn't the best rapper.
Back then, that mattered a lot more. Back in late 90s, early 2000s, like a big part was like how clever your rhyme scheme was, how good your flow was.
Yeah.
But Kanye made rap music that was relatable, that was from the heart, that had feeling to it. Yeah. Right? It was real.
It sounded like a fan of the genre that was a really good producer, but then when he rapped, it's like you could hear the rawness, you could hear the kind of he's not as seasoned as his contemporaries, but you can definitely still hear the talent there with him in his music. Yeah.
Yeah, and he made very personal songs that again, maybe the harder rap people that were looking for fancy rhyme schemes, that were looking for intense metaphors and all that.
He was a way better producer.
Yeah.
Maybe he didn't come with those, but he came up with songs that regular folks could listen to and relate to what they were talking about.
And and going into it with College Dropout, that's all about his personal experience of trying to go to college and it not working out and him just pursuing music. But that whole album, which is his first studio album, it's iconic. Like from the album cover to a lot of these
big bear head.
Yeah, the big bear head from the singles. There's Through the Wire, but also there's slow jams with Jamie Foxx. There's also Jesus Walks on there. Like there are a lot of like.
Was Twista on slow jams as well?
Twista was on slow jams. So he even early in his career with the studio album stuff, you can see how he's able to like bring talent and assemble it and make just great stuff. Mm-hmm. Again, it's just a testament to how great and talented of a producer.
Dude, and then Late Registration took him
My God.
That's when he exploded.
My God.
Gold Digger
was everywhere. It's on the radio everywhere.
The radio, dude, everyone was singing it.
What was the first Heard Him Say?
Heard Him Say, yes, with Adam Devine from Maroon 5. Yeah.
Yeah, it was... Yeah. I feel like that's the album that I have the most liked songs off of.
Drive Slow's another
Drive
great
Slow
one.
Was on
Drive
there.
Slow.
Yeah,
man. Paul Wall. That's why Paul Wall's.
Wasn't that amazing?
Paul Wall drives circles around them.
Yeah.
Poll Wall, I gotta give credit to. He's the blackest white guy I've ever seen in my life, and nobody gave him shit for it. He was the one white guy who was like, you know what? No, this is your culture.
Yeah, man, you come to the cookout, bro. No, like Paul Wall always got that respect in Houston and whatnot. Grills with a huge. 2005 was a big year for Paul Wall.
He was bigger than Mike Jones.
He got bigger than Mike Jones. Mike Jones. Mike Jones.
Yeah,
Jones.
man.
I still can't believe Mike Jones gave out his number.
That was insane.
He's like, I immediately regret the decision, but it's a great hook, so it's whatever.
And that's still tipping. That was a great year for Houston music. But yeah, Drive Slow. All these music. But Gold Digger. The Gold Digger was the song. Yeah. I mean, that song was inescapable if you were on the radio.
See, and I think what was so cool about Kanye, especially in like 2005, what you said before, rappers kind of rapped about like all the bling and the flash, but Kanye was one of those
talk shit.
Yeah, talk shit or
Wu-Tang was just a bunch of songs about talking shit.
But Kanye was more talking about himself, talking about like racism and stuff, talking about just healthcare stuff that like even he had a song about diamonds from Sierra Leone, talking about the blood diamond trade. He talked about stuff that
song.
He talked about stuff that
like,
I love that one.
More.
Yep, the one with Jay-Z on it. Yeah.
It's
And like you could see in Late Registration as we move along, like the progression of just what he cares about, but what still remained was the production value still stayed the same. But what he cared about and what he rapped about was changing, and like it was going with.
He always rapped from the heart,
always,
which was weird at the time.
Yeah, they made fun.
And the way he dressed, that was back in the era where people wear the big clothes.
It was 50 Cent's era. Remember they pitted him as the preppy pretty boy or whatever, like square against 50 Cent.
You would wear a white shirt that was 10 sizes too big down to your knees, and your entire boxers would be out for the world to see.
And Kanye's wearing polo shirts with a backpack.
Kanye's dressing like a preppy college kid.
And that's why I feel like Graduation's so cool, because it's just like that's when he made it. Like he like Graduation, I made it, but I made it in music. You know, like
he did.
I'm successful.
Late Registration and College Dropout felt a little insecure. Like he's just getting started.
Yeah, there's a lot of confidence in Graduation.
Graduation is just like
I'm here.
A celebration.
Yeah.
Wasn't that the one that they put out like the same day as 50 Cent's album? Was that the one?
Oh, was that the one with AO Technology?
Yeah, I think so. And there's a weird like kind of rivalries between them too.
But I mean, Graduation blew that out the water.
Yeah, no,
although AO Technology was a hot song.
But it was a crazy
with
thing.
Justin Timberlake, that's a hot song.
But back then that was crazy because 50 Cent was 50 Cent. He had Get Rich or Die Trying. This is like right after.
Man, so 50 Cent's Houston now, which is crazy.
Which is nuts, but like it was a pivotal moment for Kanye in his career, and I think maybe that might have begun his illusions of grandeur because he took out a huge opponent in hip hop wise, doing his own thing. I think could that have been where it began?
I think his ego had already started inflating by then a little bit. I mean, it kind of understandably. I mean, he was the biggest act in music. Arguably, at least one of the biggest acts in music.
Definitely one of them. Yeah.
Probably not until Graduation. Like when Stronger came out, that was like as much as Gold Digger was everywhere. Stronger was one of those generational songs.
Even the album covers are wildly different. Like, the first two are more dulled and darker colors and very like the character looks more insecure.
Yes.
And in Graduation, he's literally blasting.
He's flying.
Yeah,
he's flying.
There's so many colors
the
going
iconic
on in that.
Kanye glasses at that time with they're not actually glasses.
The ridges.
So like
even
the shutter glasses.
Even the visual aesthetic he's trying to make on the album cover is just wildly different from what
I sense liberation and freedom, and Graduation,
and self-actualization.
Exactly. Like I'm here.
He was coming into his own. He was confident now. He took that sample from Daft Punk.
Yeah,
it was already a classic song, and made it. His version became bigger than the original. You know what I mean?
And they become synonymous, and then one would top the other one. But definitely I know for me, that's what I already love Daft Punk anyway, but definitely made me go back and like listen to Discovery. I know that, and that's thanks to Kanye and that song. So that one was Graduation, and that was
Touch the Sky.
That was Late Registration, but that was another one where
that was Late Registration.
Yeah, Late Registration, okay. And that's kind of where one of those his first big like.
What other one was Graduation? He had a couple big.
Good Morning, Champion.
Good Morning.
Yes. Champions on Graduation. Good Morning,
Life.
Graduation. Yeah.
Good Life. Oh, Good Life.
Lights.
Flashing Lights, another one.
Good Life was Good Life was such a celebratory song.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So was Champion. That's another celebratory
song. Celebratory is the theme, right? Graduation. That's what it's supposed to be. Is graduation into the upper echelon of music.
And that was echelon. and that really was where I think he was the most on top. And that was like the fall of 2007. But then a couple months later, he loses his mother.
Like it was a couple months after the album was released.
Yeah, the album came out in September. She passed away in November to complications of a surgery.
And two things we've missed talking about, because we've mostly been talking about this music career.
Yeah.
We started seeing the first signs of Kanye doing let's call it attention grabbing.
Being Kanye.
Antics, right? We will put it nicely. Attention grabbing antics. Right, the first big one was Taylor Swift, and this was you even made a song about this, made that bitch famous.
Yeah,
not kidding. This helped Taylor Swift was already fairly famous in her own right, but this helped kind of put her on the map in a way because he basically came on, took the mic from her while she was accepting an award, and said the iconic line. What was it?
Beyonce had the great. I don't know.
I'll let you speak in a minute or something like that.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you finish.
Yeah,
but
I'm gonna let you finish.
Beyonce had one of the best videos of all time.
Iconic. He had the glasses on, the shutter glasses.
He had the bottle of liquor in his hand.
Yeah. He was holding a bottle of liquor. He just came up. Everybody was stunned.
Beyonce was stunned. Jay-Z was stunned.
Or the kind of thing where it's like a fun event. Everybody's on their best behavior. It's like
that was kind of like when Chris Rock got slapped.
That was up there.
It was comparable.
I had the same like, oh shit.
Yeah, like how the fuck
and that was like 2007. That was like at the height of like when Facebook and Twitter were like kind of coming to their own, but
popping off.
Everyone
was starting to pop off.
It got shared. Everyone jumped on him.
Google Video, I think, was still around.
Yeah. Everyone kind of condemned him. And Taylor Swift became a media darling. Obviously, she was. That's
and
messed up thing that happened.
We even actually missed the first one. George Bush does not care about black people.
Who is he with? Mike
Myers. Austin Powers himself.
What was it for?
They were talking about Katrina. They were doing like some celebrity call-a-thon. For viewers who are a little bit younger, that was when they would get on TV, just be on TV for a long time, or the radio,
and them just being there.
Just
we'll call.
have people call in and give them, I guess, their credit card info. I'm not sure how they probably even just check bank info. I don't know how they did it, but they would just call in to transfer. There was no internet. You couldn't go to a website and put in your information.
Yes, it's before GoFundMe. So this is the old GoFundMe, and celebrities use this. So
Myers' face.
Yes,
he was mortified. He was like, "Oh my god!"
Total shock. Yeah, because they were just talking about how horrifying it was. They were kind of making it a little bit funny because it's Mike Myers, and it's Kanye West. Nobody expects us to be as serious like.
But I'd say back then, the whole sentiment was that George Bush, who was president at the time, was not really handling the whole with FEMA getting the people that needed help there. The help they needed, but so Kanye took it upon himself to use a celebrity to speak out. He uses it in his music, and now he wanted to use it as Kanye West, and it was to hilarious effect.
It was hilarious, but also poignant.
It was poignant. It really was.
It was both. It was especially like it's sad now looking at where he went, politics wise. But at the time, it was pretty epic that somebody. Because you gotta understand, this type of stuff didn't used to happen. People didn't just used to do stuff for attention. Everybody had this like respectability,
real corporate, real hoity, like nice and tidy. Like
somebody like Allen Iverson or like the rap scene was like more seen as underground and thuggish and a bad influence.
Yeah, no,
I do. It's just funny that it's just Allen Iverson and the rap scene.
But, I mean, Allen Iverson was heavily brought up in rap culture.
And some people would think, oh, is he a rapper? No, but he's so intertwined with it. Yeah, they're synonymous.
Rappers at the time loved Allen Iverson.
Oh my gosh, he was so big with rappers.
It's just practice, guys.
Yeah,
it's practice. Talking about practice.
Dude, Allen Iverson's awesome, bro.
But so like, parents were worried about their kids going home and buying the latest 50 Cent album.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. They were worried that their kid. Eminem had some songs about it.
I know that growing up white, there were a lot of white parents who were scared that Eminem because
Eminem was somehow worse.
He was like a very intense white rapper. Like we had Beastie Boys, but they weren't intense.
Yeah, they weren't intense.
They were rapping about
Vanilla Ice,
fighting for your right to party and stuff. Yeah,
partying and stuff. Yeah,
Vanilla Ice was rapping with
it was legit Beastie Boys and Vanilla Ice. That was the white.
Ice Ice Baby's a much different song than Stan. You know, like
is it?
It wasn't even Stan that freaked out the parents. It was real Slim Shady, Without Me. You know, what was it? My Name Is, where he talks about sticking nails in each one of his eyelids.
Yeah.
The one about his mom. I'm sorry, mama. Like
I was sorry. Cleaning out my closet. Cleaning out my closet was dark.
Eminem is somebody that I love. That his whole arc to becoming a grandpa now and stuff. It's amazing to see how Eminem's just kind of chilled out.
He took the anti-Kanye route.
Yeah, he did.
A nice dude. He feels bad about the influence he had on like angry white dudes.
Can still rap like a motherfucker. Eminem still got it. He still got it.
His album where he came back is pretty fire.
Eminem still got it, but yeah, Eminem kind of almost anti-Kanye. His career trajectory
because he was the dark influence in rap and music
at the time.
He was the biggest act in music for a bit, and I mean, it was hateful.
He was controversial too.
It was hateful. I Would Kill You. Yeah. Kill You is one of the most openly hateful songs and most openly misogynistic.
That was also what. Look who he had to compete with.
Yes and no, man. Kill You was rough.
Hey,
it was rough, and no one should be rapping like that.
I'm not saying that.
I know it was like tongue in cheek a little bit
because you are, but I mean, like, it's also what. Like controversial shit is also a good publicity.
Yeah, it sells. Absolutely, it definitely sells.
It got him a lot of attention.
Yeah, and that's why I think what Kanye wanted to do was always be center of attention and be on people's mouths and whatnot.
So we had this Taylor Swift incident. George Bush does not care about black people. We had another award show incident where he didn't win for "Touch the Sky."
Yeah,
his music video. He spent like millions on that music video. It was like a pretty epic music video.
Me along with
at the time, music videos were like a big. They kind of are nowadays too a little bit, but at the time, like it was cool to see a music.
It was like an Evel Knievel kind of parody. It was really fun concept of it. For Touch the Sky.
And like he lost to some random white boys, I think.
I don't even remember who he lost to.
Some like random rock group.
Pull it up, Jamie.
Pull it up, Jamie. You can look it up. But yeah, the point is he got upset and got pissed off and made a scene again. So it became expected to see him kind of have these antics whenever something would happen to kind of bring the attention back to him. It's when he started losing a little bit of his goodwill. But the music was still so good.
The music was still solid.
That people just kind of like, okay, well, that's Kanye. I guess we just got to put up the good with the bad.
I think that's the problem too. Like people are like, oh well, we'll kind of like I guess put up with the antics because it's almost like the whole like separating the art from the artist. Like, yeah, we love Kanye he might deal with this. Yeah, I love Kanye the producer, but I'm seeing these problematic things he's doing. I'm like, do I still rock with him or not? And that's
at first it was still kind of funny and like asshole-ish, but like funny asshole-ish. Like, at the end of the day, who really cares about some video award or how much time Taylor Swift got to speak at some award show, right?
Yeah,
that's not a real problem for anybody's life.
Yeah,
at the end of the day, it's like an asshole thing to do, but it's not like an evil thing to do.
And speaking of crashing stuff, the people you're talking about is Justice and Simeon. That's the other guy that beat him.
Some random white people.
Again,
you'll never hear about
Simon and Garfunkel beat him.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Literally, that's what it felt like. Was the Grammys? I think no, it was the VMAs.
The MTV Europe Music Awards.
Okay,
he just went ballistic at it. It's like
those VMAs was Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
But yeah. So he just went ape shit on it. He freaked out again. And then shortly after is when I think he released 808 Heartbreak.
Yeah, a year after his mom passed, he released 808s, and that marked, as you said earlier, like a real departure from.
It was a departure album.
His usual stuff.
He was no longer principally a normal standard rap artist, right? Like you could say he was preppy and different from most other rap culture, but it was still recognizably rap.
Yeah.
Right. Even stronger. As experimental as it got, in a sense, was still rap.
Still rap song.
Good Life, all the other ones, Champion was straight up rap. Drive Slow, Gold Digger, again, just
all rap.
Standard, maybe interesting production, but just rap.
Yeah.
All right, 808s, he got on the auto-tune craze, right? That's when he became almost like I just went beyond it, right? He just became a musician.
An artist, so to speak. If you want to, I think it was definitely an album that was fueled by pain. He lost his mom. He's going through a divorce at the time. He'd gone through a pretty messy divorce. So a lot of people weren't rocking with it. I know I was rocking with it. Were y'all rocking with this sound? That whole 808s auto-tune sound.
How could you be so heartless?
Heartless is the only song I think I like off of that entire album.
It's like catchy because I heard it so long that I almost have some nostalgia for it. But I hated it at the time. I hated that song when it was playing.
I like it. I like it more because of Gay Fish, which we'll get into later.
I liked it.
Yeah,
I liked Twisted Fantasy way more.
That was a couple years later. Yeah.
I liked 808s.
What year was Gay Fish?
Gay Fish was the following. I think it's 2009, but I can look that one up.
Yeah, I think I was graduating high
check.
school.
I want to say that was season 13. But if you want to quote me on
that season 13, episode 5.
Season 13, episode 5. That was still South Park at its peak.
This was 2009.
Not that South Park's totally fallen off.
Oh yeah,
it
was a different South Park.
It was still like close to 20 episodes a season.
Mm-hmm.
It was appointment television. That was when you had right after South Park was Jon Stewart, The Daily Show, and Colbert.
Yep,
with
back
the
to
Colbert.
back.
They had a crazy writing team.
Yeah, that's when they had all the live.
They had Bill
stand up. Mm-hmm. They had all the stand up
premium
on there.
and whatnot.
That was premium, not only cable TV but Comedy Central. That was peak of their era when they were the center of the comedy world.
That's why I appreciate the fact at the time Kanye, had a sense of humor about that. He saw that episode and he
didn't have a great sense of humor about it.
No.
But look,
I don't think he liked it, right?
He didn't really get it.
He didn't get it, but I think what it was he didn't like the fact that I think he just wasn't understanding that they were kind of doing it as a Kanye, look, you're weird, you're crazy, this is how we view you, like just get it, but he just wasn't understanding that.
For a little more context for those who weren't there, and this was an awesome thing to watch live. This is one of the best South Park episodes in general. But I mean, they shit on so many people. But okay, so the concept of the show is that they would come up with a funny joke. The kids come up with a funny joke where they say, "Hey, Eric, do you like fish sticks?"
It was him and
Jimmy.
Jimmy,
the crippled dude.
Eric.
Yeah. It's okay if you call him crippled because he was in the Crips. Literally,
he was a gang member.
Yeah, he was in the Crips because they were cripples because they were born Crips, unlike stupid Christopher Butthole Reeves. Anyways, stupid Christopher Butthole Reeves.
Take that, Superman.
But it was actually pretty funny. But anyways, so it's like, hey, Eric, do you like fish sticks? Yeah, sure. Why? You like putting fish sticks in your mouth? Yeah. What are you, a gay fish?
It's dumb but effective.
It was very funny at the time. I laughed my ass off. I mean, people were hitting...
It was funny in the context of the South Park episode.
People were hitting each other that in real life, and it was pretty funny. Again, at the time, everybody's heard the joke now, so obviously it doesn't hit as hard. But at the time, it was pretty funny. It was a good pun. It was a funny pun.
I think it was hilarious how, to me, it was almost a commentary on just how artists just get inspired and how inspiration can be taken as oh, were you really inspired or did you just steal that and make it your own?
That's part of it, especially with the Carlos Mencia
in the episode.
Part of the story, but the Kanye part of the episode was that somebody tries to, it's the most popular joke around, so somebody tries to tell it to Kanye. And he takes it personally.
Because he's
asking, why are you calling me a gay fish? I'm a genius, voice of a generation. Yeah, he tries to reason it out. Yeah. It's like, no, I'm a genius. I'm a genius musical artist.
Fish sticks go in the microwave and they're breaded.
So does the genius interact with the fish sticks? and that somehow makes me gay.
Just get it, Kanye. Just get it, man.
Kanye kills the shit out of Carlos Mencia.
And that was a funny thing. Like, they also kind of knew how the real life Kanye would react to the joke they're making about him in the episode. It was
just
really brilliant, actually.
Aloof and out of touch and just odd Kanye was.
And this was
how inflated his ego was. And so the final punchline of the episode is that Kanye goes like, "Okay, I finally get it. I finally understand what everybody's been trying to tell me." And he jumps into the ocean, and some 808 auto-tunes type music plays, and he starts making out with other male fish and trying to be a gay fish.
Yeah,
because that's his takeaway.
He's happy.
That's his takeaway, that if everybody's telling him he's a gay fish, it must be because he's actually a gay fish. He never actually understands the joke.
And in a way, I think in real life, we kind of hope that's what Kanye West did. Like, understand, like, look, dude, just a joke. Just be who you are. You don't have to do all this.
He never got it.
He never did it in real life.
He didn't go ape shit and get pissed at people, but he said it sarcastically a couple of times. He's like, "Ha ha, yeah, I'm a gay fish." It's like, no, that's the whole joke. That you're not a gay fish, you dumbass.
Yeah, that's not how being a gay fish works.
Like, bro. What the fuck? Like, it's just funny because he reacted exactly in real life how the cartoon presented him.
No, like, shout out to Trey Parker and Matt Stone for really understanding, again, their characters, and also kind of understanding how Kanye West would kind of react to that and how it goes. It's great.
It absolutely changed the public perception of Kanye.
It did.
Right? It just became like goofy, like, okay, so you're really good at music, but you're kind of a dumbass.
And you're kind of weird and up your own ass. It's
like way up your own ass. Like, it just kind of crystallized the thoughts everybody and like put it so perfectly in comedic form that, like, to this day, the fish sticks jokes is just shorthand for Kanye more so even than for South Park.
Yeah, but I'll say, at any time in the story, like when there's a low point, there's definitely going to be a high, and so he kind of took all the ridicule of Taylor Swift, fish sticks definitely, and he just went back into the lab. And the next year we got My Beautiful Twisted Dark Fantasy. And in my estimation, I think it's his best work because it really was Kanye kind of really looking inward and saying, all right, how have I been to everybody? How have I been, like, what have I been putting out into the world? And then understanding that and internalizing it and then putting it out as art, real art and music here. And I just love this album. He definitely kind of blasted onto the scene with this because he went away. So what do y'all think about that album? It came out in 2010.
I mean, it was
the year
fucking
after.
better than 808.
Yeah, no, it definitely was, and it sounded just much different, but also familiar. I'd say going back to basics. How about you, Juan? What do you think about that album?
I honestly didn't listen to it as much at that point. I had gotten into like instrumental and kind of weird music at that point, like OG type dubstep.
Okay. Okay. So Tycho?
Like before Skrillex, like
Borgor and shit.
Yeah, Borgor, that type of shit. Shadow.
Yep.
If you remember, or DZ.
Scream Banker.
Yeah, that type of shit. And like heavy instrumental shit. Like weird type of music. So I didn't quite catch his album at that point. Especially because 808 had kind of lost me a little bit.
Yeah, definitely lost him some people.
Yeah, but no, I've definitely heard amazing things. Like, he was still top of the game, Kanye. Around that time, too, this is a personal story. A little bit after I came out, I went to his ACL show in, I think, 2011.
Okay.
I think it was 2011. That was when he was at the top of his game. Huge show. It was amazing...
That was after The Throne. That was after Watch the Throne.
Yeah,
that was
the
like
next
a couple years later.
Yeah, the next year actually, Watch the Throne.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, I was in college, so it was definitely either 2011 or 2012.
Okay.
So yeah, Kanye was at ACL. Just huge, awesome performance, incredible spectacle. Just throngs of people all mashed up as close as possible to the stadium. Clouds of weed smoke everywhere, passing around joints and alcohol and other drugs.
The 2011, we were talking about this earlier, the 2011 Coachella performance with him, people consider that to be the best rap festival or show like of all time.
Wow. Jeez.
Yeah, no, Kanye was huge at that time.
Yeah.
His live performances were just spectacles. It was just awesome to watch, awesome to hear.
He's a great showman in terms of he wants you to have like a really immersive experience no matter what show he's at. You could be in a stadium or outside like you were at ACL, and he always had that attention to detail in terms of just putting that out for his fans. So I always admire that about him as a showman and a performer.
No, absolutely. Great stuff. Now, after that, maybe not immediately afterwards, he put out some other albums. I think
Watch the Throne was that.
Watch the Throne was probably the next big one. That was with Jay-Z, right?
Him and Jay-Z, yeah.
That was
N-Word in Paris.
Well, yeah, that one.
N-Words in Paris.
And also, so this. Also, while he was doing that, he had this whole endeavor called Good Music, where every Friday he'd release like music that he would produce along with like artists like A$AP Rock. That's how I heard about him. So he produced a whole album called Cruel Summer, which was like all of his good music stuff and other albums. So you had like 2 Chainz, you had like Kid Cudi, you had like a lot of Pusha T, Big Sean, people coming on. So that was him again, kind of branching out and doing what Drake's doing, where he's like discovering and picking up people that he's seeing and putting them on. And this came out 2012, so he's kind of riding a little bit of a high here after Fantasy. But again, you're seeing in his personal life things are kind of, because by now he's dating now Kim Kardashian.
He finished with Amber Rose.
Yeah, Amber Rose is done.
With another wild person.
She's nuts.
Another crazy person. Also went to the Trump side.
Man,
did she?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, she needed to make some money.
She needed some money, and if you're a black person that's broke, going for the MAGAs is a easy way to get yours.
Really, Juan? Oh man, I gotta something.
You gotta look
consider.
into it, Kosi. We gotta turn it. It Was Mooney into.
It Was MAGA.
Yeah,
right.
Shitting on woke movies. We gotta shit on Sinners. Talk about us too woke. Yeah, give a 0 out of 10 reviews to Sinners. But what was I gonna say? That was around that time where he started dating and married Kim Kardashian.
Yep. A couple years later, so 2014 they married, but they're definitely dating.
But they started dating, being together.
I think like Yeezus came out before that.
The next year, 2013, Yeezus came out.
That was also around the time where he made the big deal with Adidas.
Yep.
And made him into a billionaire, like a straight up billionaire.
My goodness.
And he became a fashion mogul.
That's when his career kind of was going from music now to like, what else can I do?
He was expanding into other stuff. It was crazy. I mean, for a bit there, he became more associated with Adidas than Rum DMC. And if you know your old school rap, you know how big a deal that was.
Yeah.
Right?
I didn't realize that.
Like, I mean, it was synonymous. Like,
Adidas. Right? Yeah. That's crazy.
It was. I mean, he had the line. I mean,
the Yeezys,
the shirts.
Yeah.
Some of them were goofy. You'd have like a $60 white T-shirt. You know what I mean?
Or a shirt with a rip in it and whatever.
Yeah, like random shit like that. So some of it was pretentious bullshit, but a lot of it, I mean, hit pretty big. Kanye would dress Kim Kardashian, who was the it girl by far at the time.
She had her own like makeup empire, her and her family and sisters, but her in particular had a whole like
he would dress her and like put her in these outfits and stuff, so that he just expanded his empire.
Yeah, close to becoming a billionaire. This is like where the
I think
run.
With the Adidas deal, he officially became a billionaire.
Yeah, it's where the run began. Like, oh man, like that 2013, and then with Yeezus, that was an album again that he's always trying to be avant-garde. I remember this album, like he released it and it was just like a CD with some red tape on it, and that was it. Like, here it is. Usually like album art is huge for like any kind of person putting it out there. It's part of their marketing, but he was like, yo, you know who I am. Look, here's a CD, the blank CD it came on, and we got a couple bangers. Bound 2
is probably.
I love Bound 2 with the music video with him and Kim Kardashian, but we also got Black Skinhead, which is a fantastic song.
That's
actually.
A great song. Those are actually the only 2 songs I like off.
Same here, actually.
The rest I fucking hate.
I just didn't really care for the rest of the album, but no, it was experimental. People kind of said it sounded like industrial sounds, whatever. He was using a lot of weird things to push the boundaries of his work.
It was like a noisecore introduction. Like it sounded more like Death Grips than it did a traditional Kanye.
Yeah, like he basically made it in a factory, clanging on the walls and stuff. But
just
like
banging pipes together.
I mess with it a lot. So yeah, and I don't know. Around this time again, I think in his just going back
2014.
This 2013 that Yeezus came out. So like in his personal life, you can again see this is about 4 years after his mom had left. He's kind of, he's saying in the interviews you hear him say that he's past it and he's moved on. He's like channeling it better. But I always thought that, that wasn't the case because I could always just see underneath it. Like he just seemed lost and just hurt. And a lot of stuff he did and said came from that place. But he was so busy and just go into the stratosphere, he kind of just pushed all that stuff down in this period of time and wasn't coming out as much.
Yeah. No, at that point, again, he married Kim, started having some kids.
North
named
and
the
West.
First one Northwest.
It was maybe a year or two, because I know that Pablo came out 2016. So
yeah,
so it was 3 years. But
Life of Pablo's amazing.
I want to say maybe a year or two after Yeezus came out is when people started, I think, first circulating around the internet that like maybe Kanye needs help.
Yep.
Maybe Kanye needs help. Like that's when he was starting to do some unhinged. I mean, not as unhinged as it is now, but that's when he was, starting to be weirder.
It kind of sucks that it kind of took that long because, folks in his inner circle definitely saw that stuff happening, but like no one intervened. But it makes sense because, the success, the lifestyle, it's
not just the
hard to
success. I mean, the Kardashian lifestyle is wild.
Yeah.
From all everything you hear about it.
Yeah.
Think about how many basketball players they ruined.
Yeah, so many.
Legit, Devin Booker's the only one that escaped through his career intact. I'm not exaggerating.
Run, Devin, run. Yeah.
Every single basketball player, while he was dating a Kardashian, had the worst season of his
Lamar
career.
Odom almost died.
Like pretty much immediately afterwards.
Yeah.
Or like during. Like James Harden had his one bad year. Like worst year, the year where they fired Kevin McHale.
I blame that one on the Lil B curse. That's the one. A little bit.
That was when he was dating Chloe.
You're right.
That was when
double
he was
whammy.
You know what the wild part about that was to me? Because it was James Harden, like MVP candidate, all that.
Like Super
And I
Saiyan
remember my wife now at the time was like, or like some random girl, I can't remember, was like, oh, that's Khloe Kardashian's boyfriend. Like I was watching a Rockets game.
Like what?
And it's like, that's Khloe Kardashian. It's like, I knew that Kardashians were famous, but like, just, as a hypothetical. I obviously never watched Keeping Up with the Kardashians, right?
Oh, that's a huge.
I'm not even trying to
show.
insult them. It's just like not the kind of thing.
Big, fast.
Yeah, it's not the kind of thing I'm trying to really watch as a thing, right? I've watched some reality TV, and it can be a fun, like, popcorn kind of, like, thing to waste a little bit of time on. But just never watched Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Tila Tequila I watched a little bit.
Tila Tequila was
It was fun.
Entertaining show, yes.
Yeah, not a good show, but an entertaining one. But, I mean, they were massive, and they partied. They had attention on them all the time, cameras on them all the time. Everything they did was magnified. For someone who's already craving attention like Kanye and already lets attention go to his head the way Kanye does, having that much extra attention, from all over, just like literally a camera in his face all the time, I feel like there's a good chance that shit just melted his mind.
I think for people also, it seemed like it was just kind of a drug. Like, it's always a drug for people. Like, that attention, what it does, the dopamine hit you get from all that admiration, and he got that, like, times a million for, almost 20 years straight. Yeah, you're right. It probably... It's
a different level of fame because, again, it was a music fame, or, like, especially early on, it was, like, rap music, right? And, yeah, like, Gold Digger and a few of their songs hit it big on the pop charts, but they weren't like, I don't know, Taylor Swift big, right? But, post Kardashians, he was everywhere, right? Lots of people who knew who he was at that point, and we're getting insight into literally his life. As much as reality TV is somewhat manufactured, you're still seeing them more of their life than, more of their life exposed than like any normal person should ever deal with.
And this is like after Life of Pablo came out, I just kind of stopped listening to. Like, I didn't listen to Donde.
Same here.
Really, like I gave it like one quick quick browse.
Donda had a couple, like me. Make
What
sure
year
I
was
got
Donda?
this. Donda was 2020, I believe.
Like Laugh Pablo had Father's Stretch My Hands or
Father Stretch My
like
Hands was great.
Wolves wasn't bad.
Yeah.
No More Parties in L.A.
Yeah, let me
I
make
think
sure.
those were like the only three.
Sure,
I
I got Donda out.
But and then he did before Donda, he did that church service thing at Coachella.
Yes,
and sold those church socks for like $90.
It was kind of crazy because Kanye had like
that was huge though.
He had Jesus Walks early in his career.
That was a huge event, yeah.
And then he did that like years later. But I remember thinking to myself, okay, maybe this is like what he needs. Is he kind of come around the corner now? Like people find.
I remember
religion.
watching that Sunday morning. They have like those like festival cams that you can watch on YouTube, where it's like a 24-hour feed of it. And I was just like, this is fucking nuts that they're just doing this at a fucking festival. There were so many people who got up early on a festival day to go to church. Dude, it was a weird kind of thing.
He was massive.
It shows again how he has influence. He has people that love him and want to see what he does creatively. And again, it's a testament to just what he's done over his career. So
yeah.
All right. So far, we've alluded to it a lot.
A whole lot.
But around this era, which is around when the Trump era kicked off,
2016, yep.
2016, this is when Kanye started going deeper and deeper into the dark side.
It was his need for attention, as we said. Like his need for attention was so much.
His crazed mind. Was it around the time where he got divorced from Kim Kardashian? Mm-hmm. Was it around 2016?
Super messy, but yeah.
Or
sure
was it 2020 maybe?
Yeah.
It wasn't the first Trump administration because Kim. I remember him and Kim went and did a criminal justice reform with Trump. You remember that?
Yep. Yeah, they divorced in 2022, but definitely 2020 they weren't eye to eye for sure.
Yeah, they were already separated by then.
Yeah.
And part of it was that Kanye went full Republican and went full MAGA.
Slavery was a choice. That was
Slavery
a big one.
was a choice.
That's crazy.
Kind of shitting on black people for being weak-minded and kind of a chestnut checkers type of speech, but crazy and over the top.
There was a lot of Uncle Tom cream of weed ass behavior from Kanye West. It was really, really upsetting to see, but I understand why he did it because, Trump was a big lightning rod of attention, and as a person that craves it, he wanted to go and get some of that, and it worked for him. But
and it's clear he was fairly ignorant about the actual issues.
Yeah, most definitely.
It was obviously disappointing for a lot of people that had seen Kanye do the George Bush does not care about black people and thought of him like, as an ally of woke before he was even called woke.
Yeah, he was definitely in that and cared about issues beyond him and his own, what he was experiencing.
Like he was a progressive dude who was willing to put his fame on the line to say something that most people would consider offensive at the time.
But after that, I started to think, oh, is this all just a grift now? Did you not believe that? Is he going to just jump now? Yeah, is this all for... So it's meaningless then. As a fan, I was like, what are you doing, bro? Like, I want to like you, but you're making it really freaking hard right now.
Yeah, it was heartbreaking for a lot of folks. And then so he started getting worse and worse, saying, again, just dumb things. At one point, ran for president, I think, as a Republican.
He wrote his name on a ballot or some.
Yeah, he wanted to compete against Trump. Even it was a whole mess. Trump called him a friend, but clearly was getting him to run as this really racist ploy to be like, oh, if Kanye runs, then the black people who like Democrats might vote for Kanye instead. Black people are that dumb.
Yeah, like we're a monolith of some sort. Yeah,
it was a monolith, but a monolith that can literally have some random famous rapper go and tell him what to do.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
You can basically throw this bone and we'll just go.
It's like the equivalent of recently when Target was like, "Oh, we pissed off people by going against DEI, so let's get Al Sharpton in here because obviously he's the emperor. He's the emperor of black folks.
Al Sharpton is the king. Oh, you didn't know, Eric? Yeah, he is. Yeah.
He's the emperor of black folks.
I don't know why you're laughing,
Not even
Eric.
a king or president, just
Eric, I don't know why you're laughing. That's how we do it. Okay.
Yeah, that's how the black folks do it in this country. No, man, it's just comical, right? It's insulting how inept the plan is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, if you were gonna try to appeal to the black community, having some random rapper be like, "Oh, vote for me," has gotta be the weakest.
Yeah.
It's like people who think Taylor Swift is gonna get all the dumb teenage girls to vote for her without like just mindlessly. It's like, okay, these girls aren't stupid just because they like songs about heartbreak doesn't mean they lack brains.
Yeah, it's a lack of understanding of the audience and just the art, all that. It's just a complete lack of understanding. And again, watching Kanye in his career, he was known now more for his controversy than his music or even his fashion. What was taking the front seat now was what crazy things Kanye West gonna say, and it just sucked to see. And I kind of just personally just kind of stopped even paying attention to him around this time. I was like, all right, you're being weird. I hope you're okay, but I can't give you the attention you want. And
It's definitely the last time he was truly. I mean, his releases still get attention.
oh yeah, of course,
They
yeah.
still get some attention. Just it's partly because of the other stuff at this point. But nobody is on the lookout for the latest Kanye album.
Yes.
Yeah.
As an
Right.
artist, no one's checking for him
Nobody's
anymore.
even saying, okay, he's a hateful, terrible person, but damn, he's still making some bangers.
He can't even make a banger. He's not even making bangers now, and that's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Kanye West, a guy who
It's
is a
not even
magic
that weird.
superpower
Everybody
almost.
loses their touch. Everybody falls off.
It's true, but the way it's almost like he like sabotaged himself and like destroyed that part of himself. Like it's really
maybe. I mean, he had like
strange.
a close to 20-year run.
Of course, yeah.
I mean, you look at other people. I mean, Nas isn't making hits right now.
Yeah.
Jay-Z, even Kingdom Come, low-key sucked.
Yeah.
And that was back in 2012 or something like that,
Yeah.
right? We can go down the list. Wu-Tang stopped being popular
No,
right
you-
around their third or fourth album.
You definitely miss a step as you get older, but with him, it was like he was deteriorating in his mind, and that was a sad thing to see.
Absolutely. I just think it's both are
Yeah.
tied in.
Yeah.
Both are
Yeah.
tied in. So he was
Yeah.
becoming less relevant from a musical perspective, and then he was craving that level of attention that he had at his peak. Right? He was
Yeah.
craving that top of the world Kanye,
Yeah.
where even when he was saying wild, stupid shit, everybody was paying attention and taking him seriously.
But instead of like going back to the lab and making a My Beautiful Twisted Dark Fantasy, he just went to the lab and put on a MAGA hat and just said, "This is how you
he
do
went
it."
like crazy.
Yeah.
He lost his Adidas deal because he started
Oh,
saying like
goodness.
rough anti-Semitic shit. Not just going MAGA. Going MAGA would have been bad enough.
But just
But he started saying like Hitler was misunderstood.
yeah, some Nazi shit. Yeah.
Type shit, like openly Nazi shit.
Yeah.
So Adidas dropped his ass.
Dude, he
his
literally
labels
s-
dropped his ass.
He literally said in like a tweet the past like 2 months, he's like, my next album got that anti-Semitic sound. My new album or my new sound is called anti-Semitic. Like he's leaning in hard.
So
he
he's
has
Nazi,
a new
so he's
song
Nazi now.
called
Okay.
Heil Hitler.
So he's Nazi now.
It's called
Yeah.
HH, but yeah.
Yeah, like it's Heil Hitler.
But it stands for dude.
Hey, man.
It's
Hey, man.
crazy, man. Yeah.
Yeah,
It all
I
kind
think it actually has Nazi speech
All
samples
right, bro.
in there.
he's selling swastikas on sweaters. He's doing interviews in full KKK outfits.
Yeah.
He did like a
Even
year.
The first thing he mentions in that DJ AK
Yeah.
interview is he's like, "Man, I should have worn my white robe. The head part just falls just right." Because it is just like, bro, this is
Yeah,
He
we're
did
not,
the time machine's broken. Nazis are back.
we can't.
I don't understand what's happening.
They're not. Yeah, yeah.
He did that episode with Alex Jones where he showed up in like a full black mask. Like he just
Oh
covered his
yeah, that was
The
a weird.
vultures.
Yeah, that was
The
a weird
vultures
one.
mask, yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
that was
the
a weird
vulture's
one too.
mask, and then even Alex Jones was like listening to Kanye and being like, all right, no, Kanye, even I can't endorse some of the things. Guys, I Alex Jones do not approve of the things Kanye is saying.
What?
This is too far.
So chemtrails and game frogs was too much for even that guy. Jeez.
Yes, the guy who thinks the Sandy Hook kids were paid actors.
Oh yeah, man. He's yeah.
March 7th, 2020 or 2025. Kanye tweeted, "As a black man, becoming an actual Nazi is definitely my most unbelievable accomplishment to date." 3 crying emojis.
He put 3 crying emojis. It wasn't
Yeah,
just
that's
enough to
great.
put one.
Wasn't
Gotta
just
have
enough
to
to
do
put one, man.
Yo, Kanye.
So
Okay,
yeah,
bro.
full Nazi, full on. On top of that, he divorced Kim, and then he married this girl named Bianca Sensori, and basically turned her into a Kim Kardashian lookalike.
Essentially,
Yeah.
so yeah.
But the the porn star version.
I think he
Which
helped.
is saying something because Kim Kardashian got famous for a sex tape.
One of the more famous ones, yeah.
Playboy, I don't know if it was Playboy, but it was some other cover where she was full on butt naked.
Yeah,
you
see
can
her
see
butt.
her titties.
It broke the internet.
She said it broke the internet. We'd all seen plenty of ass and titties by then.
Yeah,
You know what I
man.
mean? It wasn't that like she would have had to put on she would have had to put on an actual porn video with Kanye to break the internet by that point, like a full on properly produced porn video. But anyway, I'm not gonna lie, I probably would have seen that.
Yeah, send me the link.
But yeah, right. But send the video.
Cut that.
But yeah, so Bianca Sensori, so Kanye drugs her around, and they get in trouble because she's like blowing him in public.
Yeah, you can't.
They're
man.
she's practically dragging her around naked, like wearing a trash bag. The latest outfit at the Met Gala or
just
something
naked.
a few months ago.
essentially,
It was just naked.
It was
They
just
asked him to leave.
a full sheer bodysuit.
They told him that you can't do this
The
here.
Met Gala asked him to leave.
Like if you just kind of looked at her at a glance, you would just say, "Oh, this lady is naked."
Yeah, it's a body.
Like technically, it's a bodysuit. Technically, it's skin color. Technically, she had little pasties covering her nipples, but she was butt naked, bro. I don't
Honestly,
know how to
man,
say it.
here's a hot take. Like, all this is crazy. Yeah, all this is insane. But all these tweets are so goddamn funny. Like most of the stuff that he's been saying has just been so insanely unhinged that it's just like it's kind of like how I miss Trump being like I used to say I miss Trump being president only because of the tweets he used to send. Yeah.
It's
fucking
it's funny. Yeah, it's funny in that like
I
what
used to
he's
miss
saying.
him for the wrong reasons. Now I just can't. Now it's worse. But
It's funny in that way that like, oh my gosh, he said that, but I think also it's sad. And I'm like, I know that I thought I knew the guy that he was as a fan. You know, we don't know these people personally, but you think you know who the artist or the person you admire is as from a fan perspective, and then to see just this turn, it's been really disheartening to see. All I'm going to say is I hope he gets the help that he
at this point,
needs.
yes.
Yeah.
At this point,
He needs help.
want.
I want that for him.
He needs. Yeah. I need him to get help because he's bringing Nazis back.
You know, it's
Yeah,
interesting to say that.
Indiana Jones fought them,
Bro,
and got rid of them.
so many movies he tried to fight them.
You
For
know,
3 movies, he fought them.
That's an interesting takeaway there because it's, he's famously bipolar. His mom died. All this stuff. He's been in the limelight for so long, but on some level, if another guy comes up to you and goes like, "Hey, Hitler is awesome. I'm gonna make a song called Hail Hitler," you don't go like, "Oh, I hope you get the help you need." Do you know what I mean?
I understand it that way. Yes.
You go like, "Hey,
Yeah.
you are a piece of shit
You're
human
wrong.
being."
Yeah.
And you say, "Oh, but I'm mentally ill." Okay, I've met other mentally ill people, and don't get me wrong, they do some stuff they'd rather not, they're not proud of, and they're not happy with. Well, first of all, usually they're not happy with it. They're not going out and proudly fucking doing it.
Yeah,
you know what I
they're
mean?
not
Maybe
tweeting
in
it,
the
yeah.
moment, they'll like in a manic moment or in a particular weak moment, they'll do this thing, and then they'll immediately after feel bad about it, and a lot of them will want to get help, or you know what I mean? They'll feel bad about hurting their family. Maybe if they're too far gone, that's one thing. But I feel like it's almost giving Kanye too much of the benefit of the doubt. Where it's like, okay, is he really doing this because, oh, he's just so ill, he needs this help? Or was he addicted to fame and attention, addicted to feeling like the world was paying attention to everything he did, and then just when he's lost the ability to do that in a normal, somewhat sane way, he just kept escalating to whatever. Like, even when he started doing this Nazi shit around the time, Trump came back and the Charlotte thing and Richard Spencer, it's like, oh, the cool attention grabbing thing is doing crazy shit like Trump.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm gonna one up Trump.
Yeah.
Right? You can see how somebody's logic would play out like almost like in a childlike way. Right?
Yeah.
But I think it's I get your point, but I think it's both. I think he also can need his help, but also he can be a straight up bastard. I think it's both of them together in a weird amalgamation. I think he's really saying these things because he's unwell. But I think also he's unwilling to listen and to reason, and people try to tell him that, hey, what you're saying and standing for is problematic and hurtful. and your zeal for attention is destructive, and it's making everybody like hate you. I think it's a mixture of the two. So yeah, I definitely see your point. I'm not trying to give him a pass. No. I'm not trying to say, oh, woe is him. Oh, he's this guy needs help. No, it's a mixture.
Somebody like Trump does a lot of similar, obviously not as extreme and like directly extreme, but Trump does a lot of the same shit. Constantly says unhinged or over the top things.
Yes, he does.
And nobody, not his fans and not the people who hate him, nobody says, "Oh, I hope Trump gets the help he needs."
That's true.
And gets better. No, they say, "Oh, he's a raging narcissist who's lost his mind." Blah blah blah. Fuck him.
Yeah.
Right. And like to me, it's okay. You can be bipolar and have this stuff, but you being an asshole narcissist is just a separate, different element.
That's true.
Right. Like even if he got help, maybe he wouldn't like be asthmatic. But he probably still would want to be like, oh, I want everybody to call me the genius voice of a generation.
Right. Yes, that part will probably still be there, but I think maybe getting the help will help at least mediate a lot of it.
Maybe. No, obviously, look, if he does need help, and if it would, I would love to see, Kanye at least have some, if not a redemption, at least
We'll see.
Peaceful, fading away into the sunset. Right?
Yes,
become
definitely.
like the other celebrities that we never think about.
Yeah.
Right. That's in a dignified way. You have your money, obviously. You still have more money than God. Like, you're still fine. It's not like you're broke anytime soon.
I think him and J.K. Rowling should just shut the fuck up and just chill out. And
that's another thing.
Go to
Here's
sleep.
another person. Nobody ever says, oh, man, I hope J.K. Rowling gets the help she needs.
Just
right?
chill out,
Oh,
guys.
no, you're clearly just an attention-needy piece of shit asshole.
That one's unhinged, and she needs to just sit down
see, other people
somewhere.
who have this desperate need for attention, we just say, hey, if your desperate need for attention gets to the point where you're acting shitty to other people to keep getting that attention, that means you suck.
You're not sick.
With
you
Kanye,
suck,
it's like, oh, well, no, he's sick. It's like, all right, maybe.
Okay, that's a good point, Juan.
Maybe. I've met other sick people that don't suddenly start singing How Hitler, is my point. I met a lot of other sick people. People get panic attacks. People with OCD. People are bipolar. Not a ton, but I've met other people. Sometimes they are a danger to the people around them, but like not like this. You know what I mean? Like when they lose control, not like a whole planned. They don't get swastika T-shirts somehow made. That's not something an insane person who can't handle reality does. It's somebody who's desperate for attention and trying to get a reaction does. You know what I mean?
And it's desperate in a very, very destructive way.
Anyways, all I'm trying to say,
we haven't talked about the last thing.
What?
The most recent thing. You want to take the?
Man, it's.
Are we gonna end on this one? Okay. Yeah.
You want to take the wheel, Eric? Eric, take the wheel.
He came out and said in one of his most recent songs said that
tweet.
and said, well, it was a lyric in a song.
Okay.
But that's in his
Even
new
worse.
World War III album. But he said that he was
How
chilling, smoking with his older cousin, and he started giving him blowjobs. And
when they were like kids, like Kanye was like 12, and the kid was like 8? He said, I don't know.
And there's nothing wrong about being gay or nothing, but it's just like the cousin and the age part is what made everyone kind of record scratch.
The age part is a big deal. At least some people, the gay part is part of it. You know what I mean? Let's be honest.
Yeah, I guess, but I think
let's be honest. There's at least some people who are like, oh, Kanye sucks dick.
What? He's gay? Like, no.
But
no.
In a lot of ways, he's like the ultra macho dude.
it's
with
just
like
some crazy shit to out yourself on.
There's been stories about how people go to Kanye's house and there's just like hardcore porn playing on the TV when they show up and shit like hardcore like gross porn and like shit like that. Apparently he's like a huge freak. He was insinuated in some of the Diddy stuff with P. Diddy.
Oh man.
Azealia Banks has made some. She's made a lot of big insinuations about a lot of people.
Broccoli brain.
So that's another crazy person who needs help for attention requisite disorder.
Clapping back.
Is that a good term? Attention requisite disorder.
Attention. Yeah. You basically require attention. Yes.
Yeah. I'm gonna feed that to psychologists. Attention requisite disorder. But it's another one. But so he makes a big deal about how he's like sucking his cousin's dick. in some ways, kind of like trying to get like the trauma sympathy. Like, oh, I was like kind of sexually abused as a kid.
And like, I'm pretty sure the more tracks that are released, the more like this isn't going to be the last of the Kanye news.
And again, is it even real, or is it just a next attention-seeking ploy? Because again, if it is real, then you kind of feel sorry for him, and you're like, oh, whoa, this guy just has a whole fucked up life. No wonder, right?
Yeah.
But if it's fake, it's like, okay, so it's a guy once again saying wild, crazy, somewhat offensive.
Either way,
shit.
it's wild and crazy.
Yeah, it's wild to just come out and say.
Either way, to just out yourself on you.
That's the kind of shit you used to say to your therapist.
Yeah.
That's the kind of thing you used to talk about to your therapist and your family in private, in a safe space, so you can deal with the trauma and grow as a person. Not putting into your music for attention.
And don't upload it on Apple Music. Like, everyone's going to hear it now. But
yes, he
anyway.
wants everyone to hear it.
Okay, Kanye.
He wants everyone to hear it.
All right, Kanye.
All right. But
It's, oh my god.
But yeah, all I'm gonna say to close this out is that now more than ever, this man is seeking attention, seeking help. This is some wild stuff that's going on.
As Juan put it, this is attention requisite disorder of the highest order. Yeah. So get help, Kanye.
Yeah. Get help, Kanye. I hope there's some level of redemption, even if it's just him peacefully spending time with his kids, and we never really hear from him again. That would be by far the happiest ending I could imagine.
Yeah.
Out of all this.
All right.
So yeah, that's our episode for today. I think it's time for that plug of the week.
Plug of the week. All right, I'll go
just like
first.
Kanye's cousin.
Oh no! I'll get this plug started. I'm actually going to plug a show that I actually was talking about earlier. Space Ghost, Coast to Coast.
Space Ghost.
So a lot of you youngins, y'all probably haven't heard of Space Ghost, Coast to Coast. He's actually friends with Harvey Birdman and all these people.
Quite a few people our age probably haven't.
Yeah, probably
really.
haven't. Yeah, but yeah, he's a Hanna-Barbera creation type superhero, and he had a talk show where he'll have like actual. Like he was animated, and he'll have like a animated praying mantis guy.
It was like Jay Leno,
yeah,
but with animated characters.
Yeah, it was hilarious, and they had like
they would interview
people.
Real people.
Yeah, I remember Jim Carrey's the one I remember being on there.
Jim Carrey, I think Macho Man Randy Savage was on there.
It was a fantastic roster.
Moby, they shit on Moby at one point.
Moby. But no, I love the show. Growing up, watching it on Adult Swim and whatnot, and it just came back.
It's a relic of its time because you have to know what like talk shows were. Like, if you don't know who Jay Leno and Johnny Carson was, it's not enough to watch like Kimmel today. It was a different vibe to those back then.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Back then, late night talk show, I was the only real thing on TV past like 10 p.m.
Yeah.
You wanted to watch TV at 10 p.m., that was it.
Yeah. And this one kind of harkened back to the Johnny Carsons and Jay Leno's, and like it did it in like a really funny Adult Swim way, obviously, and just irreverent, and just the voice actor and everyone involved in it. And again, I like that era kind of made me go like discover shows like C-Lab 2021 and all that, and even go back and watch
Harvey Birdman, Attorney at Law.
Harvey Birdman, Attorney at Law. So like I love that was kind of the genesis of me even kind of liking, not a lot, but I watched a couple episodes of Venture Brothers. It kind of got me into that.
I actually heard that's really good. I didn't like it at the time.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, I know.
Scott, it wasn't that funny.
Drew told me to watch. Drew was like raving. You too were raving about that show.
It's not like as immediately funny as some of the other.
It's a fantastic show. It might be. It's in my top 5 Adult Swim shows.
Yeah,
I've heard really good things.
Yeah.
Aqua Teen, Hunter Force.
But yeah, that whole era. But yeah, that is my plug of the week, which is Space Ghost, Coast to Coast.
I'm gonna plug C-Lab 2021.
Of course, go on.
Do it, man.
That's too high ass. But you go ahead, Eric.
No, you go first.
No, I can't plug. Just because of the theme song.
No, it's a great plug, bro.
Underneath the water.
Dude, honestly, just using Hanna-Barbera like character models to make your own shows was a genius.
Yeah,
it
was actually a budget thing. They didn't have any money, so that's all they could do.
Just stock footage.
They didn't have enough money for animators,
dude. It's just
so they
genius.
took Harvey Birdman, like slightly edited in some Microsoft paint level shit, and C-Lab, and just literally changed the audio and reanimated a few scenes.
Loved it.
It was fucking hilarious. But no, my plug of the week. Speaking of the seas. Zelda Wind Waker for The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker for Nintendo GameCube.
That is a
Obviously,
great game.
It's not really playable on the GameCube.
Great game.
But big news: Nintendo Switch 2 The Switch Online, if you get the yearly subscription, has Wind Waker obviously not for free, but
It's like that GameCube
as
Direct,
part
right?
as part of the subscription, and has upgraded graphics, modernized for your
I just hate
real
that it's a
TV.
$500 console now, man.
It is an expensive ass console.
It lost the appeal of being a cheaper handheld console. Now it's just I may as well
It's
just
a
buy
PS5.
another PlayStation.
Yeah, it's a PS5.
Well, I mean, to be
fuck,
fair, you
man.
say that, but those are $700. So, you know. Yeah.
Still though, man, it's
Yeah,
not.
no, it is.
It's not making it any better.
Yeah, no, it is. It is definitely the priciest. Actually, no, N64 was also $400. Believe it or not.
But Wind Waker 1 at that plug, I fucking love Wind Waker. I think it's the best Zelda game that they've made.
I wouldn't go
Straight
that
up.
far, but
Well,
it
yeah.
is.
It's up
It's
there.
one of their big. It was Nintendo's first attempt at a kind of an open world type game.
Yup.
At least since the first original Zelda.
You can go anywhere.
It's actually more open world than people might remember. Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom obviously took it to a next
Yes,
level.
most definitely.
But with the technology they had at the time, the people they had at the time, Wind Waker was a pretty impressive game. Has some issues, especially if you try to play it on old technology where it was meant to be played on smaller CRTVs. It doesn't look super great,
Stretches it out a little bit,
stretched out
yeah.
to modern TVs. But the Switch Online version is gonna fix all that, put it in a nice HD paint, and let people re-experience it. Comes out next month. Easy opportunity for anyone who missed it back in the day to re-experience it with a fresh coat of paint.
All right.
All right, Eric, you wanna go ahead? I get it.
It's not ideal.
Mario Kart looks pretty sick though.
And Donkey Kong.
For $80.
No,
though?
500 is for both. You pay 500.
Oh, but if you pay $500, you get both.
That's how they get you.
That makes everything so much better.
Doesn't it? Doesn't it, Eric?
I've been playing the Oblivion remaster.
Ooh. Okay, Oblivion.
Endlessly.
All right.
It's the game that came before Skyrim. For any of those who don't know it, it's an Elder Scrolls game. Elder Scrolls 4 or 3. But yeah, it's been fun. It's just same kind of deal. Like if you missed out on playing it way back in the day because it is console locked, you can enjoy it now on your new consoles. And yes, you do have to pay $500 to play this game.
And yes.
No, Eric, you need to pay $600.
God damn it, you're right.
I think
or-
$650 nowadays.
Or I'm pretty sure, $20, Xbox Game Pass, play it for a month.
That too.
Yeah.
That's actually a great one.
Game
Yeah.
Pass is a pretty amazing deal.
I know people
Especially
swear by it.
if you're one of the freaks. I mean, we complain, but there's people who spend $2,000 on a gaming PC and then have to update it every 2 years
Yeah,
to
hell
keep
no.
up with the latest shit.
I mean, shit, dude. We pay $60, $80 a year now for PlayStation Plus.
Yeah, I hate that shit.
So it's like,
Wow.
I hate that shit.
Wow.
I guess it's getting expensive.
Yeah. I don't pay for that.
yeah. So
Yeah, well, you don't play online, right?
Yeah.
finish Spider-Man, dude. Don't look at me until you finish Spider-Man.
Okay.
There's so many things. Have you finished Common Side Effects?
No, I haven't finished Common Side
God
Effects.
damn
I was talking about Spider-Man. Dude.
I'm a skip it.
I know, but
He
you used to watch
got it.
Common Side
He
Effects
got
as
it,
well.
and then, dude, no. This guy. We were at a get together, and we were all talking about how great Spider-Man 2, and he's like, and he was complaining. He's like, man, I haven't finished it yet. I need to go home and finish it. Like,
2 years
you're
ago.
right, dude. I see him on that night on Madden, and I'm like, what are you doing, bro? Finish the game.
Madden for the win.
Finish the game.
John Madden for the win.
Madden's pretty great though.
Yo, that's the new NCAA game.
I play that all. I play that too much too.
NCAA.
Yep, love the game.
Okay, sorry. That was
Man,
really
man,
close.
the youngins don't know that Madden used to be called Madden because of the announcer. do they still have his voice in the games?
No, they don't anymore.
Oh,
Yeah,
they should.
they used to have John
Have
Madden.
the
up in
AI
there.
doing this shit. Bro, that was the best part of the game. Madden
I
11.
thought he won way more Super Bowls with the Raiders than he actually did.
Nah, it was only like 2. Right?
Yeah, but he's just he's a legendary coach still.
People talk
yeah.
about him
Still
like he
a
won
legend.
5.
Yeah,
He was a more legendary announcer than coach at this point.
yeah. The
Yeah.
the analyst side, he was more so just
And his
go at.
mannerism of talking has been stylized by many comedians.
Yeah.
There, you do that. I'm over there. No,
When you had the football.
no, but shouts out to John Madden. Hey, yo, and Eric, shouts out to you, my brother. Hey, pound it
Thanks
there,
for
brother.
joining us again,
Oh,
Eric.
shouts out.
absolutely.
Absolute pleasure to have you.
It has been a crazy Kanye like 5 months.
Yes, a crazy.
The
Kanye.
subreddit,
Come on,
by
man.
the
You
way,
just needed one more K.
Right, you're almost there. You're almost there.
the Kanye subreddit, by the way, is at each other's throats.
Oh, I gotta check that out. after
Crazy.
It
this.
has been like half of. I want to say like 40% of the community is just like, guys, this is an appreciation sub, and the other half are just like, what are you talking about? You can't appreciate any of this. So it's
Whoa, wait. Kanye.
Uh-huh.
What was the second word you said? Kanye.
Crazy.
Kanye crazy. Kaleidescope of emotions.
There it is, guys. There you have it, guys. I want to thank you, Juan. I want
I
to
wanted
had
to
to
be
get a-
known that the white guy didn't do the KKK.
Yeah, we had to get the KKK joke.
It was
in.
not the white guy.
Yep, and I want to thank you, listeners. Thank you so much, guys. And also, listeners, if you want to listen to us and hang out with us more, you can search for It Was Mooney, and you can find us on all social media and podcasting platforms. Once again, you're joined by Kosi, and I'm joined by Eric and Wani B. And until next time, guys, peace.
Adios. Why are you gonna say
Say it,
I was
Eric.
just gonna say no, but